What is up? What is up? Welcome back to another NFL Rundown. Today we will do the recap of yesterday's action and then we'll jump into tonight's handicap for tonight's game and, of course, give out the winning props from Tyler. And Tyler, I already know the answer, but I'll ask anyways. How's the NFL season treating you?
That's going pretty good. We split
Pretty
the
good.
spreadsheet. We split the spreadsheet plays yesterday, but we got the live play home on Adams receptions.
So it's pretty good because now you're down to 8-2 in your last 10 instead of 9-1.
Yeah, actually 7-3.
Oh, excuse me, 7-3. Okay, so full disclosure, guys, Tyler's only 7-3 in his last two plays. A quick recap of how my Sunday went. So I went 3-2, right? So it squeaked out the point 0.8 units of profit, right? But I was started 3-0, and then I lost the last two games. So it's like I went to bed feeling like I had a losing day, even though I was up money. So that was a little disappointing for me, and we'll get into it a little later. Obviously, I lost on the night game, and I'm not mad about that one, but I am kind of mad about an afternoon game that I lost. But we will talk about that. So hey guys, just so you know, Title. I don't know if you guys knew this. He also does a death metal band, so his voice is out right now because he was singing death metal all weekend, but he'll be back with us next week. But what we like to do on Mondays is just a recap of what we've seen, and then I talk about and ask questions about the hot topics that everybody's talking about in the NFL. So we're gonna start with the Washington and the Buffalo Bills game. Tyler, I'll get your thoughts on the game, and then I'll ask the question that I've written up.
I mean, Buffalo look like Buffalo.
Yeah.
They put up 40 plus. Washington's defense looks like we're starting to think they're not as good as they were. Their front seven's still pretty good, but their secondary is pretty bad.
Yeah, and that was the question I had written, so we'll just lead you straight into it. I didn't even write anything about Bills. I mean, they're what we expected. Great job for them, and it must be fun to be a Bills fan right now. But for Washington, the question I wrote down is, where is this defense? We were in love with this defense. We were comparing it to Denver's defense to start the season. Not seeing it. What's going on with the defense, Tyler? What have you seen?
I just think the secondary is just no good. You still can't really run on this team, but you can throw on it for sure.
Yeah.
They definitely got to look into some corners, maybe another safety. But Chase Young and them guys also got to get more pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think that maybe Kerrigan. Washington got rid of him at the right time. Or no, I'm sorry. Kerrigan's up in Philadelphia, but just they're not getting the nice pass rush that they used to. It seems like it's Chase Young and three other guys, and when they're doubling Chase, he's not getting pressure, and his conditioning is not the best. He really slows down in the second half of the game. So so the Bills, right? I think we just moved them back. So I moved them back to where we had them preseason in my power rankings. But Washington, I've downgraded 2 points. Do you think that's appropriate?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I mean, I didn't want to
Maybe one and a
overreact,
half,
right?
not two.
Okay, so you're 1.5. Okay. All right. Well, we'll go into that. I'll make it 1.75, and then I'll take Tyler's expertise into this. Let's move on to the next game, and that was the Chicago Bears, and they looked absolutely terrible against your Cleveland Browns. So the Browns, I didn't really put a question for them. They're doing great, like we expect, right? Myles Garrett, what a game! But I think the questions go on the Chicago side now. My Chicago doesn't usually fire head coaches during the season, right? I mean, they've usually been we do this during the offseason sort of deal. This might be the time. Do you think Nagy makes it through the season?
I think they might fire him like week 7 or 8. I could see it. This team's offense, they just can't do anything. What did he get sacked yesterday? 9 times?
Yeah, one total net yard passing
Yeah, that's
passing
just
place.
terrible.
Yeah,
They said
and
Justin Tucker's field goal was 13 yards longer than their total yards.
yeah, it's absolutely unbelievable what's going on there in Chicago. And when you look at what's going on, it's a failure from the coaching perspective. I hate this because right, I'm a guy that handicaps tennis, NBA, and NFL. I'm not a football expert. I can't break down tape with you. With the best of these guys, I'm relying on information that I read or that I watch. Right. So I hate just being the average guy sitting watching the game on his couch and criticizing professional coaching. But when you look and you see that he basically just tried to implement the same system that he ran for Andy Dalton, right? Even a layperson, right, or an amateur. I'm not trying to say I'm an expert. I'm not even trying to say I know more football than Matt Nagy, but that was a mistake. And it's just these type of mistakes that are plain to see that even a non-expert, right? Because I want to clarify this, non-expert can see. It's coaching malpractice. And then you look at what the front office has done. Trying to go in the season with that offensive line, it just seems like a failure in all three levels of the organization. So it'd be very interesting to see where Chicago goes from there. I didn't write anything up about Cleveland, but did you want to say anything about them? I mean, I didn't move them up or down in my ratings because they were pretty high to begin with.
No, I mean, they're playing a terrible team, so you can't really move them much. They did
Yeah.
what they had to do. We'll see what they do next week.
Yeah, so not really much to say about Cleveland, but hey, when you're on this list, I think this is where it's good if we don't talk about you, or it's really bad.
Where are you ranking them in the AFC right now, spread?
Third.
Who's ahead of them?
I would say Kansas City and
You
Buffalo.
still have Kansas City up there?
I'm not
Even
taking
at
that loss
1-2?
to the Chargers. I mean, I told you guys how bad that matchup
I
was
mean, if a punter
yesterday.
doesn't drop a ball, they're 0-3.
Yeah, I know, but we could do that with every single game.
I mean,
Not every single game, but we can do that with a lot of teams. Obviously, we can't do that with Washington Buffalo, right? It would take about 17 things you'd have to change for Washington to win that game. But I do understand your concerns. But still, when it comes down to it, you have that electric offense. Hopefully the defense can get their things together. But we've seen this from this team before, and I'm not as concerned. Also, right, like, okay, you beat up on Chicago, right? I mean, I'm not rating you upping you in my rankings for that. So, the Chargers look pretty good too. So let's go to the next game, and that was the Ravens and the Lions. The Ravens, I'm not surprised they had the letdown coming off the big loss, not able to cover the spread. I was thinking they were going to upset a lot of survivor pools. That didn't happen. As was that a record there on that field goal?
Yeah, that was a record.
So the question I wrote down is, are the Lions cursed?
I mean, yeah, they have to be.
Unbelievable.
I turned off the game and I was like, yeah, that one's over.
Yeah.
And I pulled up the Bleacher Report app and I looked at the score and it said 19-17. I was like, how'd that happen?
Yeah.
I was like, it was fourth down on their 16. I was like, how the hell did they get into field goal range?
Yeah, it's just unbelievable how they lost that game. So it's going to be really hard to back the Lions. But to be fair, they did cover yesterday. Let's go into the next game, the Arizona Cardinals. Hey, they started slow, but they still got the cover against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Speaking of NFL records, right, the 109-yard return there for, was that the Jaguars that made that play?
Yeah, they tried to kick a 68-yard field goal.
Yeah. So, hey, at least they got something right there. But they look pretty bad. And actually, I kind of have a different question there a little later. We'll switch that for Cincinnati, but it will have to do with this Jacksonville Jaguars team. But my question is, are they the favorites to get the number one pick right now?
Who, the Jags?
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be them, or I mean, the Jets look pretty bad too.
Yeah.
So, the Jets have also played some tough defenses.
I agree. So. Yeah, I would say that they're the favorite just because of the strength
Carolina,
of schedule.
New England, Denver to start the year. I mean,
yeah,
that's not good for Zach Wilson's confidence.
Right, but yeah, it's really just showing you these poorly run franchises. They're just 25 years ago the salary cap came in and it created parity, but now the ownership advantage is starting to come through. As we've had this salary cap for 25 years, because guess what? There's no salary cap on coaching. There's no salary cap on scouting, right? And you can see the organizations that are paying more for the proper coaches and the proper scouts in their front office, getting the right general manager in there and doing things the right way. And then the organizations who haven't just consistently struggle. And it's just so rough to be drafted to one of those teams. Let's talk about the Chargers and the Chiefs, Tyler. We'll spend a little more time on this one because this was actually an exciting game that has playoff implications. Give me your takeaways from the game, and then if you go into one of my questions, I'll just let you know.
I mean, this Chiefs defense just looked terrible. Everyone's running all over it. People were putting up points. Mm-hmm. And looking at their offense, they still only have two weapons. I mean, you see some of the names that caught touchdowns yesterday. It's just guys we've never even heard of before.
Right.
So, I mean, they got to bring somebody in to offset the load that Kelsey and Hill are carrying, or they're going to be in some trouble.
All right. Well, since you're already hinting at it, we'll go with this question that I wrote down. In my power ratings, how much do you think I should downgrade the Chiefs?
I think they're still a top five team, but I think they're fourth or fifth.
Okay. But off that game, do you raise them or lower them a point at all?
No, I just still keep them right where they're at,
Yeah, I
point
do too
wise.
because we
Their
talked about it
offense,
in the
because it's just
preview,
their offense, they can still put up points in the blink
and
of an
it's just
eye.
a team that matches up with them perfectly.
Yep.
I'm not going to downgrade them for a team that just matches up with them perfectly. And I know the defense looks bad, but Keenan Allen is just unbelievable. I don't know who can cover him outside of maybe like Xavier Howard, Jalen Ramsey, or Tre'Davious White, right? So I'm not going to downgrade them for not having a top three corner here. And, I just thought it was a tough matchup the way that they can get pressure with just four. Now go to the Chargers, right? How much do we make of that win? Can I say the Chargers are a legit Super Bowl contender now to the AFC?
I mean, I think they're still a year or two away, but I think they'll definitely be in the playoffs. They might knock somebody out, but I think they fall short of being a Super Bowl contender.
I mean, I'm starting to really like this team. I like this coach that they grabbed over from the Los Angeles Rams. He seems to be working wonders. Justin Herbert, we talked about, getting the big receiver there for Josh Allen in his development. Keenan Allen is the same thing that Stephon Diggs is for Josh Allen. And I just think that, they have nowhere to go but up. I love how balanced they are. I love that they can cover. I love that they can get pressure. I love that they can run the ball. And I love that they can throw the ball. I think the only thing that they're missing is they can't really run up the middle, which in 2021 is not that big a deal. Let's talk about the Saints who beat the New England Patriots. And not only did they win, they won soundly. We talked about this on Friday, how this team might be up and down. Well, they were up on Sunday. How do we change this, and how do we even handicap this team? Is this just going to be like a coin flip, like we have those NBA teams that we just stay away from every
Yeah,
night?
that's that. I pretty much categorize them as that team already. Like I don't like
Yeah.
none of their skill players outside of Kamara
Uh huh.
and Winston's a taking time bomb. You never know which one you're getting. The guy that's going to throw picks or touchdowns. So
Hmm.
I kind of just put them in that pool where I just don't even pay attention to them anymore. And it's already only week 3.
Yeah. So now on power ratings, are you downgrading New England for that performance yesterday?
I mean, no, I mean just
I
battling
didn't.
two good coaches, good
Okay.
couple turnovers. You had a pick six,
Hmm.
so game could go either way with a couple different things happening.
Yeah, and I still think that they're going to be good. Unfortunately, I still think that they're going to be a fringe playoff team, not necessarily back to the dominant team. A lot of people might be happy about that. I say, unfortunately, if you're a Patriots fan. Let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons picking up their first win, Tyler, 17-14 over the New York Giants, and they were able to get it done towards the end of the game. Offensive line still didn't look good. Wasn't necessarily that really impressed with the Falcons' offense, but the defense looked a little better. Is that a product of their defense actually improving, or are the Giants just that bad? What do you think?
I think it's a product of the Giants getting some injuries on the offensive side too.
Hmm.
I mean, what did Shepard went out? I think
Yeah.
they lost another receiver that went out too. So I mean, they were losing weapons left and right as they just gained their tight end back, Evan Ingram.
Hmm.
So I mean, Daniel Jones couldn't get into a rhythm, but Atlanta's defense is all right, but I don't think they're like a stout defense.
All right. So, are you upgrading the Falcons, or do you just think the Giants are bad and we just keep them there?
And that was just a battle of two bad teams. Keep them right
Yeah.
where they're at.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Atlanta, actually, I don't even want to win that game. I want to get a top five pick. I need a quarterback to replace Matt Ryan. Um,
Oh, they'll still get a top 5 pick.
yeah, maybe they will. I mean, it's almost getting to be like the NBA where these bad teams are really bad. And before the NFL wasn't like that, I mean, it'd be usually one or two terrible teams, but like five terrible teams. This is just, like I said, I think it just comes down to the salary cap. Everyone's used to it now, and we're really seeing the top organizations. Rise to the top, but more importantly, the bad organizations are just sticking out like a sore thumb. All right, so the Cincinnati Bengals beat your hometown team. Um, Ben
I
Roethlisberger.
told you they were going to beat them.
Yeah, you were right. So I didn't bet the game because we were messaging about it, but I was obviously rooting for your team because we bet the Bengals regular season win total. I'm almost ready to grade that as a loss as they're already 2-1. But I also think it's a little bit of a product of a competition. So let's see where this goes. We'll start with the Steelers, and then I kind of got a fun question. But what do the Steelers do from here?
Nothing. Just tank.
Do you switch quarterbacks?
I mean, I think you just let him embarrass himself for the rest of the year. Just
Why?
I don't like him. He shouldn't be here. I'm gonna die on the hill that they should have pushed him out last year in
Well,
Tampa.
well, I mean, that's not even a hill anymore. You're dying on a wide open football field
Yeah, because
that's clear and
all the
ready to
people
go
in Pittsburgh were like, no, we need to keep him one more year. We have one
yeah,
more chance at this. We went 11
no,
and 0 in the week
yeah,
11 last year, but
big mistake there.
yep, he should have been out so we could have drafted one of the quarterbacks that came out last year. Now we're gonna have to pick from this bad bunch.
So you're not even running Dwayne Haskins out because you're still going to lose with him.
I mean, they'll run him out there eventually. I think because I think Ben gets hurt in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
But
If I were the Steelers, I would be in the office just telling them like, "Hey, you're hurt.
yeah,
Hey, let's just make this easier for both of us. Why ruin your legacy and let us put someone else out there?" So, it's really too bad because you know how much I really do respect Mike Tomlin and all the work that he's
you
done
want to take a guess
with
how
that
many
Steelers
times
team.
Najee Harris touched the ball yesterday?
He did pretty well in fantasy, didn't he?
Oh, he did great in fantasy because he touched the ball 31 times.
It was a lot of dump downs, right?
He either caught the ball 14 times and ran it 19, or it was the
Yeah.
opposite way around.
Well, I would
just
think.
catching a ton of dump offs.
Yeah, well, that's about all Ben can do at this point. So now I'm going to my Cincinnati question, right? And I would have never considered this question, in 2019, watching them both play. But Tyler, let's say, we're just talking about what the Steelers do at QB. Let's say you can magically take one of the two to become your starting quarterback. At this point, would you rather have Joe Burrow or Trevor Lawrence?
I mean, it's kind of hard because we've seen a year of Joe Burrow.
But he looked good right off the bat, right?
Yeah, but he's also was put in a little bit of a better situation. He had good receivers there, so I mean, as of right now, everyone's going to say Joe Burrow, but give Trevor Lawrence a year and a half and some weapons, you could change your mind.
Yeah, I was still thinking Trevor Lawrence too, but I just never even thought that it could be a tough question, and now I definitely do think it's a toss up, right? Because boy, we talk about bad coaching and lack of talent, the Jaguars, and then I forgot to bring this in the Jaguars. Did you see that they traded their number one pick or a first round pick, C.J. Henderson, for a tight end and a third round pick? So that means for Jalen Ramsey, you got a guy that you just traded for Dan Arnold and Travis Etienne for Jalen Ramsey.
That's terrible.
Just terrible. Just a terribly run organization. And it's too bad because I would like Jacksonville to win. Let's jump down. Tennessee covered against the Colts. What did you take away from that game? What did you think about Carson Wentz?
I mean, I didn't really pay much attention to this game.
Okay.
But
that's fair.
I mean, it's typical Tennessee game. Derrick Henry ran all over him. I did see A.J. Brown got hurt, and he's likely out this week.
Yeah.
So that might take up some of these younger guys where you can hit an anytime touchdown prop at a nice price.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Because, I mean, we've seen in their game this Sunday, you had 3 or 4 guys we never even heard of score touchdowns. I think it was like a Nikhil Westbrook one went in. Jeremy McNichols went in. So, I mean, none of those guys are named Derrick Henry, and we all know he's like minus 300 to score a touchdown on Sundays.
Yeah. All right. Are you actually upgrading Tennessee, or do you think that is a win that they should have had?
I think that was a win they should have had.
So we keep them exactly where they were.
Yep.
I'm fine with that.
They still have a really bad defense, so I can't really upgrade them much.
Yeah, and I was going to ask, do you downgrade the Colts, but I'd already moved them down before this week, and I'm not going to switch it. I've actually thought Wentz was healthier than we expected. Right, we thought that he might get knocked out of the game. We didn't even know. Remember, I was comparing him to AD, that he might only be out there for a quarter. He looked pretty good. Still a lot of injuries on this team, so I'd already adjusted for injuries, so I'm not going to re-downgrade the team off the loss. But credit to Tennessee for getting it done. And after looking absolutely terrible in their opener, right, the team looks pretty good. So let us talk about the Denver Broncos. They're now 3-0. But Tyler, the teams they've beaten are 0-9. We have to take the quality of competition in a factor here when we're making our ranking for this team, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have to. They just played the easiest schedule of them all.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I still think that defense is solid. I mean, they're barely letting up any points. I mean,
right.
They might be 0-9, but teams still score points. These are professional athletes we're talking about.
So I mean, they have played 2 rookie quarterbacks so far. Right.
Yeah, and I seen a stat where they say like rookie quarterbacks are like 0-9 against the spread.
They're 1-10 straight up or something, and the win is when Wilson played Mac. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, all right. So we agree there that you keep your Denver ranking the same. Don't get too excited because they blew out the Jets. And boy, I didn't really write anything down for the Jets, but boy, I wonder if Robert Saleh is wishing that he would listen to me talking about organizations and front offices earlier because boy. For a good coach, and I really love hearing him speak, and he's really an inspirational guy. Really a struggle to see what he's doing there, and I have no idea how he turns that around. So hopefully he can. They have actually had a very tough schedule defensively. Maybe Wilson looks a little better next week, but that's really going to be tough sledding there for the Jets. Let's go down to my favorite team, the Las Vegas Raiders, and Gerardo Hernandez throws this up. Yeah, if we go 8-6 the rest of the way, we end up 11-6 playoff bound. That's true. Here is my concern for the team. You want to know why, Tyler? There's the old adage that says good teams win, great teams cover. Because now the Raiders have gone to overtime unnecessarily twice early in the year, and I'm just sitting there watching the overtime of that game, right? And I'm just watching players get banged up left and right, and I'm saying this is completely unnecessary.
Yep.
This is why you don't win in November and December. You want to know why? Because John Gruden has no bravery, no courage. As soon as he gets a lead in the fourth quarter with less than 8 minutes to go, he runs 2 fullback dives and then a Derek Carr throwaway on third down. It is, and once again, I'm not saying I could do a better job coaching the Raiders. John Gruden's doing great, right, for the first 3.5 quarters. But I'm saying if I can recognize this, he needs to recognize that this play calling with the lead is just absolutely terrible. You are not going to run the ball in the NFL against professional linebackers that know a run is coming, especially up the middle. I mean, it's coaching malpractice. And Sumner Hutchinson hasn't been hanging on in the chat.
About the run the clock all the way down to 1 second in overtime, use the timeout, and then kick the field goal.
At that point, I'm fine with it.
I think you should keep the timeout and line up and kick the field goal with the time on the clock. So what if your snapper botches it? He could just fall on top of it, and then you call a timeout. He gets a second chance.
But just like Peyton Manning said, if you can't run the ball in, 4 downs from the 1 yard line, if you can't kick a field goal from the 1 yard line, you don't deserve to win either. So I wasn't really that upset about it. What I was upset about, and I don't cuss very often, was a pussy play calling with 8 minutes and left to go with 2 dives and then throwing out of bounds when everybody knew it was coming. It was completely unoriginal. And look at the first 3 quarters. The guy knows how to dial up plays. I mean, there was some great routes, great designs, great play calling, great timing that went into that game. I mean, it was just so disappointing. So they didn't cover. They still got the win, but you're not going to win in November and December playing 5 quarters a week because you don't know how to play call in the fourth quarter. And I'm watching Mullins get banged up. I'm watching Abrams get manged up. I'm watching Trayvon Moore, who's a safety that can actually cover, which we haven't had since Charles Woodson's there. Okay, so sorry for my Raiders rant. And that's that. Miami, I don't know. I didn't really take away much from it. Brissett is who we thought he was. And they're another one with the bad play calling because did you notice that Brissett looked a lot better once he got to throw every down and didn't just waste getting 2 guards with Myles Gaskin up the middle? Newsflash, guys, you're not running against that team. It was just. I think Brian Flores is great. I think that was a tough position for them, and I'm not going to downgrade them. I want to see how they look when Tua gets back.
My favorite stat from that game spread: Jalen Waddle, 12 receptions, 58 yards.
Yeah, I mean, just a bunch of dump offs.
How do you get the guy?
Did you see the safety?
Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
Talk about a bad play call. Yeah, right. I mean, qualifies one more time. I'm not smarter than an NFL coach when it comes to football, but we can all recognize that these are bad and they need to fix it. Okay. Let's talk about Minnesota defeating Seattle, right? So you know what my thought was for Minnesota? They got that little Undertake gif going, right? Where he gets up out of the casket that they all like to put whenever someone's making a comeback, because we talked about how they were the most impressive 0-2 team, and then they looked great against Seattle. I thought that was a nice comprehensive victory. Are we ready to upgrade this team, or is that just what we thought?
I mean, I was already putting them not really high, but they were right in the middle.
Yeah.
The 0-2 record didn't scare me because they should have won both of those games.
Yeah.
And I mean, they had the blueprint to beat Seattle because Tennessee laid it the week before. Run the ball right down their throat. They can't stop it.
Right.
And we seen Madison run for 112 yards. So,
right.
I mean, I just think running backs are going to tear the Seattle team up all year. And I think Seattle solidified themselves as the worst team in that NFC West. Who's worse than them?
Arizona.
I don't think so.
We'll see. We'll see on that. But yeah, definitely arguable. But I'll tell you what was solidified that we'll agree on. Minnesota's the second best team in the North, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
So, okay.
Because Chicago's still hanging out in no man's land, and Detroit's Detroit.
And here's the thing: is we didn't downgrade them too much for the losses, right? Dalvin Cook shouldn't have fumbled in week 1, and then obviously should have made the chip shot in week 2.
That wasn't a fumble, too.
Right.
You say he was down.
Right. Yeah, so you understand my point, right? So we didn't downgrade them. So I'm not re-upgrading them just because they beat Seattle, because we already said, obviously I leaned Seattle. I didn't bet the game, and I wasn't surprised when Minnesota won. Let's talk about the main event of the afternoon slate, and that was the Rams defeating the Bucks. I finally got one on you, Tyler. I finally picked one head-to-head against you and got it right there as Matt Stafford looked fantastic. What were your takeaways from that game?
I mean, yeah, they look good. In Tampa defense, I mean, their secondary needs some work. They'll probably pick up some guys before the deadline, maybe sign some free agents, but it's all about going to be which of these teams comes into the playoffs healthy.
Exactly.
And we all know Tampa Bay is going to come in healthy because just the guys they have. Tom Brady's probably not getting hurt. And you look at the Rams, Stafford's known to be hurt, and Cooper Kupp I don't think has made it through a full year. So see if both of those guys are there at the end of the year.
Let's go straight into my question, because I think that you set it up on a tee for me perfectly. Is AB necessary for this Tampa Bay team to complete at the top level? Because I thought that he really missed just having 3 options out there.
I mean, having 3 all-pro receivers like that is always nice, but I don't think he's like the key factor of them being good.
Okay. So.
I mean, that is a great defense on the other side.
Yeah, so different takeaways. I just thought they would be able to exploit the cornerback depth, because no team has cornerback depth, and I think that's why having the 3 strong receivers matters so much. My next question for you is, redoing my power rankings this morning, Tyler, I have the Rams number 1. What do you think of that?
I don't think so.
All right, who's your number 1 team?
If anybody's won, it's Buffalo.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. We get to disagree again. Yeah, I like the Rams more than Buffalo because I trust their defense a lot more. And Buffalo's got.
If you're going, I think that I seen the numbers. They had Buffalo at 1. But I mean,
yeah, but they played New England and a rookie quarterback in his first ever start in the NFL. Then they played Miami with Tua, who's. Right, he's not there yet, and then they beat Washington with Heineke. Right, I mean
they played us. They lost to the Steelers.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why I thought. Oh, yeah. Excuse me.
That was
sorry.
Season openers. Pittsburgh.
Okay, but then they went against Ben Roethlisberger, who we already said shouldn't even be in the league.
Yeah,
but probably worse than a rookie.
Game. Their defense is what won them that game.
Okay, but I mean. The Raiders' defense, which we don't think is very good, shut down the Steelers, and then the Bengals held them to 10. So I don't think shutting down the Steelers really upgrades your defense that much.
Yeah,
so.
And then you get a block punt return for a touchdown swing of things. So
right. So this will be fun. This will be something we can revisit as the show goes on. So now
I can't trust the Rams because I see one more injury on that offense, and it's just going to stop. Like it's going at 100 miles an hour right now.
Yeah.
But if Cooper Kupp tweaks an ankle or his ACL pops back out like it has before, it's
going to I think you could say that for so many teams. Like, can I just say that for Stephon Diggs? Like, if they don't have Diggs, they're not going to be a good offense.
That is true, but like this LA Rams team is so top heavy. Like one more injury, they're done. We've seen the.
I think a lot of these teams are top heavy now, especially with Josh Allen grabbing that $40 million contract or whatever he got. I don't know. I mean, I don't really rate the. So you think the Buffalo has more depth at receiver than Los Angeles?
I think so.
I don't. I like Van Jefferson way better as a number 3. Who's the 3? Who's the 3 on Buffalo?
Emmanuel Sanders.
Okay, that's fair. You might have me there. Who's the number 4?
Gabriel Davis.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we have. All right, cool. This is fun. This is fun. Well done, Tyler. But still, I'm not changing. I got the Rams at top. You got the Bills at top. We'll be talking about this next Monday. So much fun watching that game, and then. Boy, these primetime games have been great. Now, I've been losing. Now, I was complaining about losing that Raiders game, right? And I felt like, I mean, not necessarily a bad beat because you know what happens when you lay 3.5. But I felt that was my toughest beat of the 2 beats. I do feel like I got this game wrong, and I deserve to lose on my San Francisco 49ers bet after touting all week how they were going to absolutely run the line of scrimmage. Green Bay offensive line did their job. They gave Rodgers enough time. And I didn't think that the 49ers offensive line was as dominant as I had expected. So I will, take my L there. I'm not going to try and explain it away or make excuses. But I'll tell you where I really felt I got the game wrong besides the line of scrimmage was, people talk to me and say, hey, you're not worried about this secondary? And I said, no, they'll be fine. They're going to get enough pressure. It won't matter. I was wrong. The
They
secondary
just
is a
torched
serious
that
concern.
secondary.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily think that was Aaron Rodgers' greatness, right? I think that a majority of NFL quarterbacks can make the throws as open as the players were, and as good as Devontae Adams is, within the top 15 teams in football, there's plenty of wide receivers that could have beat that coverage, right? That wasn't.
Was he
that.
concussed at the end of the game spread?
Oh, for sure.
He
Oh,
came right
for
back
sure.
out, right back onto the field.
Whatever. I mean, that happened every single play when in the 80s, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm not too big on that, whatever. But yeah, he definitely was. And there's an interesting talk on the broadcast about how the referee was basically just out of position, but that's how he was taught to do it and how they've changed it. So definitely a bad call there. It was kind of funny because I was obviously feeling that the love from the referees as we're getting all those BS calls. Like, what was that? Alexander roughing the passer. I mean, come on. Come on, right? I mean, like,
barely touched him.
I had money on the Niners, right? Pretty. Well, nice bet, right? I mean, I knew that was BS. Right? It's
I don't
just
get
like
why Jimmy G doesn't go to Kittle more. Like 2 years ago, he pelted him with the ball, and now he just doesn't do it.
I don't know what's going on with him either. I think that bringing in that other quarterback really shook his confidence.
I think
he's not the undisputed leader.
Well, I mean, when you can't punch it in on first and goal, second and goal, third and goal from the one, and Kyle Shanahan goes, screw it, go in there and just run it, Trey Lance, and he goes right in. I mean, I'd lose my
but
confidence
Trey Lance
too,
isn't ready. Look at all these other rookies.
Yeah,
and he was the least ready out of all of them. So you're going to go from Division 1 AA or whatever he's in, and then you're going to go play against the NFL?
It'd be tough.
I think they're smart. Smart. Yeah, that's true. He also did it against the NFC East, not the NFC West.
Very true.
So, yeah. All right. Well, so obviously the Niners have secondary concerns. I am downgrading them in the power rankings until I see a healthier injury report in that secondary. But that's temporary for me, and it's an injury-based downgrade. I don't think that this team's any worse. So my question for you, Tyler, is I'm sure about that. What do I do with Green Bay? Am I underranking them? Do I upgrade them?
I got to see their defense play another good game. Because, yeah, they played good against San Fran yesterday. They still gave up a ton of points. Mm-hmm. If it's not for Rodgers driving down the field at the end of the game and saving the day, and Mason Crosby hitting a 51-yarder, they're going to lose that game.
Exactly.
And you figure they didn't look good in the Detroit game. And once Darius Smith got hurt, they couldn't get any pass rush. So I got to see them do that one more game.
Okay, well,
next week isn't going to be a decider of anything.
Yeah, I'm going to keep them where I was, but my numbers haven't told me to take them once yet. And they're 2-1 against the spread.
Well, your numbers are going to tell them to take you this week.
Yeah, and we'll get into that tomorrow, guys. So that is our recap of the week. A little quicker today without title, but hey, I thought it was a lot of fun. I like having these conversations, especially when we disagree, Tyler, because it doesn't happen that often. So it should be fun, and hopefully the viewers will enjoy that too. Let's jump into tonight's game. What is it right now? Is it 3.5? It was 3.5 when I, before I went to Chick-fil-A before we started the show. Hopefully it's still at 3.5. And what's our total here?
51.5.
51.5. Tyler, do you have an idea on the side or the total?
I mean, looking at who Philly's played this year, start the year with Atlanta. We think Atlanta's like a bottom 3 team.
Yeah.
They just maul them. Atlanta can never get any offense going.
Right.
And then they play San Fran in a tight game, really. And San Fran scores late and takes that game over and wins it by, 6, 17-11.
Mm-hmm.
Low scoring. They lost Brandon Graham in that game.
I know. If they didn't, I would have taken the 3.5. Yeah, I would have already taken the 3.5 if they didn't lose Graham.
Yeah. Also, you look. I mean, with Atlanta not getting any offense going, you look at the second game. Mm-hmm. Debo was able to put up 94 yards on Darius Slay.
Right.
You got to think these guys tonight for Dallas are going to just torch them. I know Cooper's hurt, but we've seen him play hurt all his career.
Yeah.
I think CD's just going to have a giant game. So,
All right.
I think Dallas can cover that 3.5. But with this being an interdivision game, I wouldn't be surprised to see it be a tight game. I could see it finishing like 31-27.
Yeah, I know, huh? So I haven't placed a bet on the side yet. My lean is towards the Eagles, but I'll tell you what, numbers haven't been popping super good for me yet. Like I said, I went 3-2 yesterday. Nothing amazing. Nothing that makes me feel like I want to get involved. I'm actually saying to myself, I need to identify bigger edges before I get involved. Just because I'm not sharp right now, I'm not on point. And you know when your model's dialed in, and when you know when it's not. And mine needs work. So I'm fine saying off the side. The total is 51.5. Every primetime game seems to have gone over so far, right, Tyler? Does the trend continue?
I mean, I'd say so.
I think
it's
so
going
too.
over. Just
I think so
because
too.
I don't think these Dallas corners are going to be able to cover Devontae Smith and Rager. So I think Philly
Yeah.
will put up points. And
I think Philly's going to be able to run the ball too.
Yeah, I could see that. But I don't think Miles Sanders is all that good of a running back, NFL wise.
Yeah, but running backs don't matter. You need to have good line play. And I think the
they're
Philly
missing some
line,
key linemen this game though.
are they?
Yeah.
Who are they missing? Let me look that up right now.
Like, what is it? The converted rugby player that was playing great his first.
No,
game?
he's not out, is he?
Yeah, he's out. He's not playing.
Oh well, never mind. I'm not taking the 3.5. Then no way. He's so good.
Yeah, he's really good.
He was playing like a top 10 left tackle, and he's a rookie. Yeah, Jordan Mailata and Rodney McLeod out. So thank you for telling me that.
That's
Andre Dillard is back. Okay, cool. And we'll get on to that. McLeod is a safety. Looks like Boston Scott and Davion Taylor are still questionable. And, of course, Brandon Brooks is still out. Brandon Graham's out. And tight ends and wide receivers that aren't that good. So, okay. Well, thank you for clearing that up with me. Sorry, guys, that my prep didn't have that done. I should have already known that. My apologies. But thank you for bringing me up to speed there, Tyler. And Jordan Mailata is out. Boy, it's going to be a lot. Let's talk about the props that you wanted to give out, Tyler, because guys, it pays to be on the Run Pure Bets team. I already got these bets placed. Why don't you let everyone know what they are?
The first one I was looking at and talking about that tackle being out, Jalen Hurts his rushing prop is 53.5 yards. If you look at his numbers, he started 6 games.
Yeah.
Going back to last year, he's went over it in 5 of those games. The one game he didn't was week 17 last year when they pulled him at halftime, and they basically
that was weird
up to get a better draft position.
Who'd they put in?
I forget. I can't remember.
Like Sudfeld,
yeah,
Nate Sudfeld. Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah.
He played Dallas last year. He put up 69 yards on 9 rushes. So I mean, looking at it, that lineman being out, he's quick to tuck it and run. So I mean, that pocket's going to collapse a lot quicker tonight. So I think we'll see him run a little bit more. And you look at Dallas's last year, they played Lamar, Kyler, and Jalen Hurts last year. They gave up 74 yards to Kyler, 94 to Lamar, and 69 to Jalen. So I just think these running quarterbacks have a way with this Dallas defense, and they just see open spots for them just to run all over it. And I think he'll have tons of that tonight.
All right. So I like that one. I've already bet it. Let's go on to the second one that you've got.
The other one I was looking at, I just think CD's going to have a big game. So I got it at 78.5. I'd bet it.
It's 80, so that's what I put it in the chat right now.
I was going to say I'd bet it up to about 81, 82. So I just think he's just going to tear this Philly secondary apart. And it seems like Dak loves him as his number one. And I could see Darius Slay still going after Cooper in coverage.
And even if he doesn't, I'm not that high on Slay. I mean, he's not bad.
CD can have his way with him.
Yeah, but against a young receiver that runs the routes with precision that CD Lamb has, and he has the size too, so he should be able to do well in 50-50 balls. The Dak gets trusted him. He's getting a ton of targets. I really like this play, Tyler. At first, I was a little hesitant when I sent you, hey, 80, is that a good number? And then I started thinking, and I'm like, you know what, that number's still. I like that they put it there to at least make you think about it, but I still think it's a great bet, especially with Michael Gallup still on the sideline and us expecting this game to go over.
Yeah, there was one other one I was looking at as an anytime touchdown, Dallas Goedert. It's plus 260 on FanDuel. He gets a lot of red zone targets, and the Cowboys surrendered 2 touchdowns to Gronk in week 1, and they should have surrendered 1 to Jared Cook in week 2, but he dropped it. So these tight ends are getting open on these linebackers. They get into the red zone. I could definitely see Goddard catching one.
All right. Well, I love those 3 plays, and I think that it's fine to stay off the side altogether tonight. Tyler, let's talk about like live, right? But if the Eagles get above 7, do you think I should jump in, or do you think there's a chance that Dallas just blows them out?
I mean, I could see Dallas just laying it on him here, just like the last game they played. It was 37-17, and that was with Andy Dalton at the helm. Now Dak's back. If Dak throws for like 350 here, I mean, they could easily blow him out.
Yeah, that's the case. Okay, so anyways, speaking of live betting, the live betting show will be on this YouTube channel tonight. So if you're not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe to the channel.
I don't think we'll be on tonight's spread. I think Jay has to go to his daughter's softball tournament.
Oh, excuse me. We'll be subscribed to the channel, so when we do go live
we'll be back
tomorrow.
On Thursday. Yep.
The live show will be back on Thursday, and we will be back tomorrow at this same time, and we're going to go over the whole card for week 2. I'm coming off a 3-2 week, and so this week it didn't matter as much. But in week 2, the numbers that we gave out ended up mattering because the lines moved with our play, so we got the CLV, and then it ended up mattering because the game landed in between, right? That's why that Tuesday show is so much fun for us. And then a lot of games we say either, hey, we like this team, but we think the line's going to move the other way. We'll talk to you about it on Friday. And then some of them say, hey, this is where I'm leaning right now. But on Friday, we'll know for sure. Let me get that Wednesday injury report. So there's the ones that we know specifically, hey, we want to get this number early. We're going to bathe in CLV, as all my friends like to say, and enjoy that. And then we tell you the ones that we have our eyes on, and maybe we have a target number that we'd like it to go to, or there's a key injury that we're waiting on the news. Actually, here's a good example from last week on the key injury, right? We talked about Tuesday that we like the Steelers, and you said, hey, if TJ Watt's out, I don't like that. And I think it did play out to be true because I think if TJ Watt's in there, that game could be a lot different because I think he's that much of a difference maker. So we are, really enjoying doing this, and we get in there early, let you get the early numbers, hit the lines early in the week for the ones we like. And then on Friday, we're back. And on Friday, we will also give out Tyler's props. Tomorrow, we do the Thursday night football props. Get them in early. Even the ones we gave out today, guys, don't wait on those. Because I'll bet all these are going to go up. We're betting overs. If you want to bet unders, take your time. If you hit that Hurts over with us or you hit the CD Lamb over with us, get it now. Tyler, I'll bet you this closes at either 85.5 yards or like minus 170, minus 180, because I don't necessarily think that you found some secret that other prop players aren't, right?
Yep.
Doesn't mean it's not a good bet, but I'm just saying, get it in now. Jalen Hurts, maybe not so much, but that CD Lamb seems pretty obvious with Amari fighting the injury and the number of targets he's already got, even with Amari being healthy. So anyways, Tyler, love all the great information you give, and I'm glad that now I'm able to have some action on tonight's game because I didn't want to lay it with the Cowboys. I was leaning towards the Eagles. You've talked me way off of it, just letting me know that Maliota's hurt. You know how much I love my left tackles when it comes to handicapping. And I do like the over, but maybe that one we can attack live, right, if they have a slow first quarter.
Yep.
So anyways, it's so much fun doing these shows. Everybody, if you do like it, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and head on over to runpurebets.com. Use the promo code BETS25 off to become a member. Get all the plays that Tyler is currently 7-3. He's upset because he's no longer 9-1, but he's winning. Joey work timber continues. We're going into Worktober because the guy can't stop losing, and we all know how well the Sports Keg does with his plays. JJ's been giving you the free plays, doing great. We won't talk about this Saturday, but other than last Saturday, it's been absolutely fantastic from JJ. I love getting those too, so make sure you're subscribed so you can be notified when Joey, JJ, and the Keg go live. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Tyler, do you have any parting words for these fine folks?
Nope, let's just make some money tonight on this football game and go into 4.
I can't wait. And Tyler, I really hope, because you know what? I don't really feel like having stress in my life tonight. Let's cash these early, okay? Because you know what Tyler's the master of? First half cashes. There's nothing better than hitting your over in the first half and then just kicking back and enjoying football. Just who cares what happens? Who cares who wins? So much fun.
Opening kickoff.
Yeah.
80-yard touchdown to CD Lamb.
Yeah.
Turnaround, Hurts runs it all the way down to the 10-yard line, throws a touchdown to guard.
Yep. And if you
Win
guys,
off the game.
yep, yeah, I would love that. Now let's go ahead, guys. And if you do like this, go ahead and share it on your social media. Send it to your other friends that you know place bets. You know, we're always trying to grow what we're doing here. The more support we get from you guys, the more go ahead I keep to keep producing content for you guys. And you know how much that Tyler and I enjoy it. So thank you everyone for hanging